So in the event in the Gospels where they drag the woman caught in adultery before Jesus, when his enemies come to him with this woman and they throw her in the middle, it's a well-known story, and I love the gentleness and kindness of God towards that woman, how Jesus looked at her and wasn't willing to judge her in her obvious failure, and where she could only expect condemnation and certain doom. And there Jesus's graciousness and kindness is revealed to her. And I, of course, love that story so much because of that. And today, as I was reading it, something just caught my eye that I haven't seen before. And welcome to this morning jolt, this refreshing jolt. I trust that you will refresh your spirit. Excuse me. And so in John 8 verse 6, but Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground. And then they keep pushing him, and then he rises, he says what he says, and then in verse 8, and again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. It is interesting that in this story it is so apparent that Jesus is not willing to look at this woman in her fallen state. Jesus is not willing to look at this woman in her sin. Jesus is not interested in studying that mess that she was at this moment. And it's so curious that it appears that Jesus alone on this occasion showed real embarrassment about the woman's sin. He was the only one who averted his eyes and was not staring and studying. He was not, he didn't have his mobile out and shooting a video of the whole event. He just turned his eye away. And it's so interesting because his enemies, the Pharisees, the religious folks, they were not so. And a judgmental heart is not so. A judgmental heart looks at someone's obvious failure and it just loves it because there's that judgment in the heart, and that judgment bites down hard on that failure, loves it, and wills to choose on it, and draws your attention to it, and wants to study it, take it all in, and then chew on it and enjoy it, and desires to understand it more, and get the ability to judge even harder, and that's how this heart, the judgmental heart, functions. And Jesus wasn't so. He averted his eyes when they forced him. He got up, he told them what he needed to say, and then he averted his eyes again. He yet again turned away his eyes, and he was just not willing to look at this woman in that state. And this is because God is not looking to be the judge right now. Of course, the Bible clearly tells us that he is the righteous judge, and he's definitely he's definitely going to judge everyone one day. But when you're not looking for the sin, then you're not interested in finding out more. God means not to judge before the time. This is what we read the other day in 1 Corinthians 4:4 and 4:5, that God will judge in the right time. There is a time coming, and God is entirely satisfied with judging at that time. He's not hastening it. He's not interested in it today. He is satisfied that the judgment will be complete later. Today, he is looking to show grace. And that's so powerful. Isaiah 30 verse 18, if I can drag that verse here. And therefore will the Lord wait, that he may be gracious unto you. That's how he looks at us. He's not interested in studying our sin and judging us, because judgment will come later. Today he wants to give grace, primarily in his Son through salvation, when you believe on him and he gives you salvation. But beyond that, also as a believer, when we fail, excuse me, he gives us grace, and he looks at us like that. He's not interested in staring at our sin, because he doesn't have a judgmental heart. It's not interesting for him. He's not doing it because this is somehow his this somehow makes him greater or something, that he's a judge. So we need to learn that from him so much, and it's so powerful when we as believers learn that heart from him. And when we look away and then we look with love and with grace, it's a different story. God bless you with that truth today.